So from what we know following the World Cup, can we make some sort of prediction as to what the British and Irish Lions in 2025 might look like? What might their squad be? So this is kind of getting to the head of Andy Farrell, because now of course it's not been announced yet, but I'm sure they will ask Andy Farrell as their first up choice to be the Lions head coach, and I think he's going to say yes this time because he's been with Ireland for a long time. They've had a lot of success. He's got lots of international and Lions experience. It all seems to add up that Andy Farrell is going to be that head coach if all goes well. So I think that's what it's going to be. How's Andy Farrell going to put his squad together? Is he going to put a squad together to play a certain style? Is he going to go more on experience, more on form? Is he going to form a core of Irish players to form that team? It's going to be interesting to see, but I definitely think he's going to go with experience. Which players step up in those big occasions, those so-called test match animals? Now, before we start, just to note that the selection criteria for the British and Irish Lions is not the same as the NGBs for the Four Nations. I mean, they can pick anyone who is Welsh, Scottish, Irish or English, and it doesn't have to be following the NGB's guidelines for their selections. It could be picking someone out of favour, like Sam Simmons. It could be picking an uncapped player. It could be picking an ineligible player, as in someone who's playing maybe abroad, an English player playing abroad potentially. Or even it could be picking a player who is retired from international rugby and they persuade them to come back for the Lions. So they really have free rein to pick whoever they want. So straight away, let's put up the squad. This is the sort of squad I think he might go for. Look at the experience there. Look at the quality. It's very exciting. Ellis Genge, Porter, Schoeman, the loose heads possibly. 30 years old, 29, 31. The sweet point in age for props there. Hooker, maybe Lake, George and Sheehan. George will be 35 at that point, but I think he showed no signs of slowing up. I think Lake's going to get a lot better over the next couple of years, so that's a bit of a prediction there. Sheehan on performance is probably the best hooker around, but certainly George Turner of Scotland's in consideration. Kelleher of Ireland could go as well, but I'm saying those three. Tight heads, well, I think Furlong will go, 32 years old, and probably nearing 100 caps or at 100 caps. He's going to be an absolute beast, of course. Fagerson's going to be 29, and I think actually maybe he'll go with some Irish favouritism potentially, knowing those players a bit better. Maybe Beelum as the third choice over possibly a Thomas Francis of Wales. That'll be interesting to see, but again, good age ranges for those props. I think it's a really strong propping lineup. Second rows, Atoje is going to be 31. He's having loads of caps as well. David Jenkins, that's a bit of a prediction. He's going to be 22. He's already got 12 caps already. I think he's going to be a Welsh great. I'm just calling it now. I think he's got absolutely everything. And in 2 years' time, I think he's going to be a must pick. James Ryan's going to be 29, right in the sweet spot. Adam Beard's going to be very experienced as well. Richie Gray might be a bit too old potentially. Gilchrist possibly, but I think those four second rows, because I'm going to say he's going to take Tadhg and Courtney Laws maybe as a second row /6, and yeah, they're so experienced. Tadhg, 33, Laws 36. Will he be playing for England at the time? Maybe not, but I think you take him. Over 100 caps for experience. He's been so good for so long, whether you use him at 6 or in the second row. Maybe someone like Ryan Baird, maybe even better at this point as well, but at the moment, going with those guys there. Now, back row, loads of competition as you would expect. I think he'll take Curry with all his experience for England and the Lions, of course. But there's a big call as well. Jack Morgan at 25 years old. I think he will be the captain of the British and Irish Lions. He's amazing now. He's going to get better and better. I like his leadership. He leads by example. He seems confident. He's good at everything. Yes, it would mean he would start over players like Josh van der Fleer, but I think he's that good and he goes as the captain. Plus, I wasn't sure who else was a main contender for captain, so let me know if you agree with that. Van der Fleer would go, I think, 32 years old, very good player, obviously amazing at the moment, but I think Morgan might just overtake him. Caelan Doris is going to be on fire, I think, at that point. 27 years old, he's amazing now already. I think he's going to be a probable starter somewhere. Jamie Ritchie could play 6 and 7, 29 years old, loads of experience. Captaining as well, Scotland will be good for leadership. And if Ben Earl continues to improve like he is now and perform like he is now for England and for Saracens, I think he has to go. And I think, why don't you take Talupi Faletau? I keep thinking, is he going to slow down this year? and he never seems to. He'd be 34 then, well over 100 caps of experience. So I think those are the back rowers that might go, but Conan might go. Jack Dempsey of Scotland's been looking very physical. Rory Darge by then may be amazing as well. Do you go with Peter Imani, another old stager, or Wainwright of Wales? So loads of competition. Those are the ones I'm saying. On to the backs, and I think Farrell will take 3 as normal, and I think he'll take Jamison Gibson Park. Even though he's getting into his 30s, he loves the way that he organises that Irish team, so I can't see him not going. Should you take Gareth Davis and Thomas Williams, or just one? I think maybe you just take Thomas Williams. He's my favourite of the two, but let me know if you disagree. And if Alex Mitchell keeps playing for England and improving, he'll be 28, right in that sweet spot as well. Or you could take Ben White of Scotland, but I'm going with those 3 there. Fly halves is interesting. Finn Russell at 33 years old will still be in his pomp. He's playing so well for Scotland. He started with an absolute storm for Bath as well. What a player he is, so he has to go as well. He'll be, nearing 100 caps of experience. Marcus Smith, I think, will go as well, because those two, are very similar sorts of players. Smith will be 26, absolutely in his pomp as well. I think he'll be very good. And I think you take Owen Farrell as someone who can play 10 and 12. He'll be still incredibly competitive, 34 years old, dead-eye goal kicker, loads of experience for England and the Lions. Or do you go for even more experience and recall Johnny Sexton from retirement? Or do you persuade him to come out of international retirement? Surely he would give it a go for the Lions if he was still playing for Leinster. Maybe Dan Biggar as well gets tempted out of retirement, or maybe George Ford gets called up as well. But I think Russell, Smith and Farrell are the 10s for me, with Farrell being able to play 12 as well. The standout centre of the World Cup has been Bundiyaki. He would be 35, but he's playing at the best he's ever played right now. So can he hang on for 2 more years? I think so. So he would go alongside Gary Ringrose, who would be 30. He still seems like a youngster in my mind for some reason, but he's been so good for so long. North will be 33, but again, he's rejuvenated his career by moving into the centres. So fair play to him there, and loads of experience with the Lions as well. And then maybe the slightly younger centre at 28 years old would be Tuipulotu of Scotland, who's been Scotland's best 12, very creative as well. So I think those 4 go, but Henshaw could be around as well. Hugh Jones, Ollie Lawrence for England. Maybe do you call up Manu Tuolangi still? I don't know, but those 4 centres in my mind. Back 3-wise, some good players would miss out here. I thought Lowe was close, Kinghorn, Liam Williams, Anthony Watson, although Williams might be a bit too old, Watson a bit injury prone, but we'll see. 15s would be Keenan and Stewart in this list. I think he'll like the security that Stewart gives in the air. He trusts Keenan as an all-rounder. Rhys-Amick would only be 24, which is crazy to think of. Mac Hanton, a brilliant all-rounder as well. Van der Merwe, the power man, would still only be 30, and Darcy Graham 28. So I think those 6 go. So is this the sort of squad you would go for? Put your squad below. What sort of starting team might you expect from this squad? Obviously, it's a couple of years in the future, but because we've just had the World Cup, it's a good point just to have a little think about it. Anyway, love to know your thoughts, and I'll catch you next time.